I taught English in China for almost 10 years, and for most of that time, I taught teenagers in middle schools and high schools. I recently watched the film 13 Princess Trees. Not only did I enjoy it, but I also found that it really resonated with me. It shows, I think, a side of Chinese high school life not often depicted in popular culture. The film follows Feng, a tomboyish high school girl, and her classmates in the year before their Gaokao exam. Feng tries to negotiate teen romances, a difficult relationship with her father, classroom politics, and tragic events. Whilst we do see her and her friends studying, doing PE, and singing the school anthem, we also see them getting into trouble, making mistakes, and struggling with the transition to young adulthood. Throughout my time as a teacher in China, I would constantly encounter the stereotype that Chinese students are all extremely well-behaved, hard-working, and dedicated to their studies, as if they are not truly human, but rather automatons, built only to study. On my occasional trips back to the UK, people would say things to me like, "Teaching in China must be great. All the students are really well-behaved, right?" Even local people would sometimes be guilty of propagating this stereotype, telling me about how, compared to teenagers in the West who waste their time or get into trouble, Chinese students are all uniformly and unwaveringly dedicated to nothing but their studies. To be clear, I was fortunate enough to work in really good schools, and I taught many bright, hardworking, and dedicated students. And there is some truth in the stereotype about Chinese students being very hardworking and well-behaved. I would say that most Chinese students do work harder than most British students, and Chinese schools generally have much better standards of behaviour than British schools. But the problem with the stereotype is that it denies Chinese students their full humanity. It sees them only as two-dimensional and uniform, when in reality, Chinese students, like students in every country, are an extremely diverse group. What's more, each one of them is a fully formed individual with their own personalities, strengths, weaknesses, likes, and dislikes. And just like teenagers all over the world, they too can get into trouble, do stupid things, and misbehave. 13 Princess Trees does a great job of showing Chinese high school students' lives in all their fullness and complexity. It gives an insight into what some schools in China can be like, showing both the particularities of that one school and its similarities to schools all over the world. At one point in the film, Feng tells us that her class is famous for two things: the pen of Eva and the fists of Tao Tao, demonstrating that her school in Sichuan is just like most schools in every part of the world, having both some good girls who love to study and some bad boys who like to fight. Of course, 13 Princess Trees is a work of fiction, and I certainly was not aware of any of my students engaging in the kinds of things seen in the film. But nevertheless, the film is in some ways realistic, and acts as a corrective against the pervasive stereotype that Chinese students are simply two-dimensional studying machines and nothing more. I think that it is a great film, both for Chinese people who want to reflect on their time at high school, and for foreigners who want a more balanced understanding of what school life in China can be like. Have you seen the film? If so, I'd love to know what you thought of it. Let me know in the comments.